All right. I would think. What time is it? Right, it is. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise for a salute to the flag, followed by a moment of silence for the father of Rich Tana. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item D, approval of minutes from January 20th and February 3rd. And item E, acknowledgement acceptance of financial reports and budget transfers as printed. Do I have a motion? Move. Second. All in favor? Aye. Item F, communications were received by the Board of Education as listed. Item G, the superintendent's report. Mr. McNamara?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to move, if it's okay with the board, I'm going to move up to the front. We have, I'd like to start tonight. We have a number of staff members here that we'll be recognizing as they've announced their retirement at the end of the school year. So I'd like to start our program with that this evening to take a moment to recognize those folks. So I'm just going to transition over to the front to do that. All right, good evening once again. Certainly my pleasure tonight to recognize several of our staff members that are going to be retiring at the end of the school year. We are just want to take a moment to thank them for their dedicated service. We have a total of 6 teachers that are going to be retiring at the end of the year. A combination of 144 years of service to our school district, which is outstanding, and certainly sad to see them go. First, one of our staff members was unable to be here tonight, but I just did want to congratulate her publicly. That's Susan Burdick. She is a speech pathologist that's been with us for the past 12 years, has done an outstanding job in our elementary schools, and we just wanted to congratulate her. She's helped hundreds of students with speech and language development and really done an outstanding job in that area, and we just wish her well as she relocates to spend some more time with her family. So congratulations to Sue Burdick. Next, I'd like to recognize Virginia DeMuzio. Virginia is here tonight with her husband, Joe. Virginia has served as our world language teacher for our elementary language program for the past 21 years. And she really has been the backbone to our elementary program and done an outstanding job in that role. Prior to joining us, Virginia had spent some time using her bilingual skills in private industry. And one of the things that I just noted is just the energy, enthusiasm she brings to the classroom every day. She's truly passionate about that. We have really an outstanding world language program in the upper grade levels because of the great foundation that she provides our students and gets them excited about elementary language instruction each day. And when she's not avoiding falling maps in her classroom, Virginia has helped execute world language programs as well in the evening for our parents to see, in the afternoons for our parents to see the world language program each year, so we thank her for that. So I want to extend my congratulations to Virginia and wish her well in her retirement and thank her for her dedicated service. An official adios to Virginia. So please come on up. I have a plaque for you, Virginia. Next staff member I'd like to recognize is Amy Longo. Amy is a math teacher at Wantagh Middle School. She'll be retiring at the end of the year after 34 years of service to our district. She began here in 1987. Amy had also worked previously at middle school in Levittown for a couple of years prior to joining us. And I think when I think of the middle school math department, you think of Amy Longo. I mean, Amy has been the backbone of that department for the longest time. She has brought so much to that program. She has mentored colleagues. She has been through so many transitions in curriculum, and she does just such an outstanding job with all of that. In looking at all of Amy's evaluations through the years, one of the things that you certainly notice is the common thread that you can see consistently in every evaluation, which is her ability to relate to students and make curriculum accessible to our students. And she does that extremely well. So she has done an outstanding job. We certainly we're going to miss her. We tried to convince her for year number 35, but those efforts failed. And I couldn't resist the corny line for retiring math teachers. I think it goes something like this. Being a retired math teacher is just like being a regular math teacher, but without any of the problems. Get it? Math teachers assign problems. Come on, come on. All right, I couldn't resist. But Amy, we congratulate you. Thank you for your dedicated service to our district, and please come on up and join us up here for a little presentation. Next staff member I'd like to recognize is Penny Miller. Penny is a technology teacher at Wantagh Middle School. We congratulate her on her retirement at the end of the school year as well. Penny has family members Jamie and Adam here this evening. Penny has served as a technology teacher here since 2005, but we were really fortunate with Penny. She came to us already with a wealth of experience, both in the New York City School District and in the Harborfield School District prior to joining us in 2005. It can be challenging to find a technology educator, and we certainly did well in hiring Penny in 2005. Her energy, enthusiasm that she brings to the classroom every day, her ability to connect with kids is all outstanding. I remember one of my first interactions with Penny was when we had our middle school awards ceremony, and Penny brings particular amount of energy to that award ceremony. And as a superintendent sitting in the front row, I remember collectively holding my breath for the 3 minutes that Penny was doing the awards. I didn't know what she was going to say, but then I quickly noticed how much the kids loved her and the energy and enthusiasm that came with that. And you could see clearly the connection that she had. She's a master teacher and really has elevated our technology program over the years. And we thank her for her dedicated service and once again wish her well in her retirement. So congratulations, Penny. All right, the next staff member I'd like to recognize tonight is Phyllis Murphy. Phyllis is, go ahead. Phyllis has been here with us since 1982 as an elementary educator and most recently here at the middle school teaching 6th grade. She's joined here tonight by her daughter Kathleen and grandson Riot, her daughter Kelly and her son-in-law Ian, her son Connor and his fiancee Carolina, and her stepbrother Stephen. Her brother, Stephen, and her daughter, Karen, who is watching from sunny Florida. Some little facts about Phyllis. She's a Wantagh High School graduate. She was in the class of, I won't say it. She worked as a teacher aide in the district for a year prior to becoming a teacher here. And she was a ski and horseback riding instructor. Little known fact I found out about Phyllis. She currently has the longest running tenure of any member of our faculty with 40 years of service. And yes, for those of you doing the math, she was 6 years old when she began her career here. And during her time here, she's touched so many lives of literally thousands of students that have gone through her classroom doors. I think one of the things that I remember most about Phyllis, I've been here for 7 years, so I only saw a portion of her career, but when we were making some significant changes in 6th grade to our instructional program, with Phyllis being in the later stages of her career, just how enthusiastically she engaged in those changes. I think she was, 4 or 5 years ago, when she saw some significant changes in our science curriculum, some significant changes in our 6th grade program. She easily could have said, you know what, I've had enough, it's time. And I think maybe she even had a moment or two like that. But she didn't do that at all. She stuck it out and she embraced it. And really, our science instruction in the sixth grade has been completely revolutionized over the past couple of years, certainly in part to Phyllis's leadership in that program. So I want to just thank her for her dedication as a community member, as an alumni, all the things that she has brought to our community and our district over the past 4 years. Congratulations to Phyllis. We wish you nothing but the best in retirement. And finally this evening, I'd like to recognize Christine Torellis. She's retiring after 20 years of service to our district. Christine is a special educator, currently working at Forest Lake Elementary School. She's joined here this evening with her husband, Kim, son Alex, mom Irene. Her daughter Katie is watching from Colorado. Her son Ryan is watching from Ohio with his family. So we are across the nation tonight, streaming across the nation. When Chris arrived here in Wantagh, she already had a wealth of experience previously. She had worked in Ohio as a teacher and locally for a number of years at a private school. And the district was certainly lucky to find someone with such a wealth of experience when she arrived. She did a leave replacement for a couple of years and then then received a probationary position in 2004. When I first started in the district, I worked with Christine with our mentor program and was very impressed. She led that program for us and was so impressed with her dedication to that program, full of ideas in terms of how to improve it, and always looking to help colleagues along the way. So really has done an outstanding job in that regard. She works as a special educator with our primary students, K1, 2, in that area. And for students entering that program, they're transitioning to school for the first time, and she does an unbelievable job getting them acclimated to our school program. She does an unbelievable job working with our families in that program. All of particularly our kindergarten, first grade parents can be anxious about having their child attend school for the first time. And for some of our less able students, that anxiety can be even higher. And she does a great job reaching out to families and working with them to make sure that they have a smooth transition to the school setting as well as their child. So I want to thank her for her dedicated service over the past 20 years to the Wantagh School District, and we wish her nothing but the best in her retirement. And I'm just going to ask one more time if our retirees could come up for a group picture that Mr. Heckmack is going to take for us. If you wouldn't mind coming up one more time. Yep. Great. please. All right, congratulations once again to all of our retirees. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and to our families who joined us as well. All right, on to just a few updates for the board and our community. As we start each meeting, COVID-19 community update, all moving along well. These are our county cases compared to our cases right here in our community. You can see the spike there that we saw at the end of December, beginning of January, much improved over the recent weeks. So all good news, heading in the right direction there. These are our daily cases in the district. Once again, so the spike right after January and where we are right now, circled in red there. Once again, all good news. We've seen a continued decline over the past several weeks in the number of COVID cases. Once again, all moving in the right direction. Community numbers, these are relatively stable. Once again, from the last update that I provided, not much movement upward. We've actually gone down a little bit there too. And number of cases across the district by month. You could see the larger months that we had were December and January. Then we've definitely slowed significantly through the beginning of this of February. Each week since the middle of January has declined significantly. So all good news there. And vaccination, once again, all improvements, all good numbers. Everything continues to improve. Our community across the county, all really strong numbers here, and we keep seeing an upward trend there. Update on the mask mandate. We had sent a few things out on that. One, in terms of the mandate, I know to many's disappointment, it's still in effect. We've, as I pointed out, on the downside of the surge, things continue to improve, and we're continuing to advocate for an off-ramp to the mitigation efforts for COVID. We'll continue to advocate for that as we have since last summer. We have there's currently a pending court decision. So certainly our apologies to the community for the last minuteness of our notifications 2 weeks ago in terms of masks, but we were reacting to the court case and continue to wait to further developments there. There has since been a stay, and we're waiting for that to play out in the courts. We're hearing March 2nd is the potential end date for arguments to be submitted there for the court to make their decision. Yesterday, the mask mandate for schools was set to expire on February 21st. Yesterday, our governor announced that she would not be ending the mandate for schools. She ended it in other public places, but not schools. And the committee that extends those regulations met today to extend that regulation. She indicated that it would be reconsidered after the February recess, and that a decision would be made then. But once again, no indication of what the metric would be to make that decision on. Once again, to our disappointment that did not happen. As I highlighted, data continues to improve. I understand the frustration on the parts of many that we're not in a place where the mandate has been lifted. We did advocate for a metric to be used, for an end date to be established with the governor, and we'll continue to do that. We've done that through our professional organizations in coordination with our county superintendent organizations. We sent a letter yesterday to the governor's office as well, advocating for the same, and we'll continue all those efforts. I thank everyone for their patience. I know it's been a trying time for our community. I know it's not easy, and I know that there's extreme fatigue on everybody's part. And I know that has not been easy by any stretch, but we'll continue to advocate. And as I said, our numbers look great. I know we're in a good place at this point. We've seen just based on what we've seen historically. I feel strongly that we're in as good of a place as we're going to be right now, and we need to start to transition from pandemic to endemic, and we'll continue to advocate for that. There is, just so folks are aware, many folks had reached out to me over the past few weeks on the mask issue. I know anybody that did, I reached out to let them know about the public comment period that is still open through February 14th. This link is on our district website. And this is directly to the folks in Albany that are making these regulations. You can reach out directly to them. It's a public comment period that's open through the 14th. And you can express your opinion on the mask mandate either way. If you feel strongly about it ending, if you feel strongly about it continuing, or something in between, you can express that opinion there. And those are the folks that are directly making those policies. All right, I'm just going to transition. Any questions from the board about any of the COVID-related updates before I transition to budget development? Okay. All right, budget development update. We just some important dates. We're continuing to work with our funding sources. We have an initial draft one of our budget that we'll be presenting to the community on March 7th at our first budget forum. That's currently in the works with our Board of Education. We received some good news from in that area. Our foundation aid, which is our biggest portion of aid that we receive from the state, it was increased to by about $750,000, pushing it up over $18 million, which is much needed funds. We are anticipating a really significant increase in healthcare premium costs. They're going up well over 10%, over a little bit over, touch over 11. For us on our budget, that's about $1.1 million. So this funding will help greatly to offset that. We are going to hold a series of forums for the community on our budget. The dates are listed there. They're Monday evenings on March 7th, 21st, and 4th. April 4th, they are right here at the high school, and we hold them in the South Cafeteria, and they'll all start at 7 o'clock. And then we have one daytime forum scheduled for Wednesday, April 6th, before we adopt our budget. So that will be an ongoing process over the next several weeks as we work towards that. We also received good news from a financial perspective. We had received a fiscal stress score over the past 2 years from the Comptroller's office. We received word a couple of weeks ago that we were no longer going to receive a designation. Our score has been reduced significantly as our financial condition continues to improve. So that was good news that we received a couple of weeks ago. Just a few congratulations. Our varsity wrestling team, congratulations to them. Nassau County champs, went up to the state meet in Syracuse and were the runner-up in New York State, did an outstanding job. So congratulations to them. I wish yep, please, that's great. We had our snow day a few weeks ago, and just a note that we'll be in session on Thursday, May 26th as a result. And I wanted to wish our cheerleaders good luck. They left this morning bright and early at 3:30 a.m. to head to Florida to compete in the national championship. So congratulations to them. I wish them well. And then last week we had World Read Aloud Day that Ms. Rossley, our director of lots of departments, put together for us. And I just want to thank her for that. It was a really nice event that involved our secondary students participating with our elementary students. So I want to thank her for the coordination of that. And then one shameless plug for our middle school play, which will take place the first weekend in March, and they're putting on the show Matilda. So please come out and support that. That'll take place here in our auditorium. And that's it for my report. I'll turn it back over to Mr. Greco.
Thank you, John. Item H1, personnel actions. Item H1A, B, C, and D. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Item H2. H2A, B, C, and D. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Item H3. Item H3A, B, C, and D. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we'd like to thank the Wantagh Elementary School PTA for their generous donation to the school district. Item HE, F, G, and H. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Item I, J, and K. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Item I, unfinished business, we have none. Item J, new business. Item J1, approval of committees on special ed and preschool special ed recommendations. Do we have a motion? Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. I have a motion to adjourn.
President, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, we have no student government. Foundation?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Liz Gilbert from the Foundation. Thank you. We don't have a whole lot to report. We are in full swing for summer rec. We just wanted to let everyone know that it's back after 2 years. We're going to be having it at Wantagh. I actually left some flyers there for parents that may be interested. The program is for our students that are going into kindergarten next year and up. And we are also looking for counselors that may be interested to apply. And they just have to be ninth graders and up. So that's really all we have. And congratulations to all our retirees. We wish them well. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Forest Lake? Mandalay? Wantagh? Oh, Mandalay's coming. I didn't see you up there.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have much to report. We just finished up a fundraiser for a Decorate Your Own Cookie Kit. It went really well. And right now we have a Make Your Own Pizza Kit from Borelli's Pizza. It's good pizza. Please support us. We have it on Wantagh Mamas, and it's all over the place. But if you're interested, please email either myself or Melissa Labello, and we'll be happy to give you the information. We have a Stop and Shop fundraiser coming up. If you get a reusable bag at Stop and Shop, they chose us this month to be the recipients of, I think, 5% of each bag. So it goes right to Mandalay to help our kids. And lastly, we're looking forward to our book fair coming up the first week in March. And that's all we have to report.
Thank you. Wantagh?
Bear with me 1 second, all. Bringing up my things. Hello, hi everybody. I'm Jen Schnitzer on behalf of Wantagh Elementary. We have our Moonlight Bowl adult event that's coming up March 25th, from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. I'm sorry, oh my God, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. at Wantagh Lanes. It's $25 per ticket, and we're going to have an exciting raffle. That's so super exciting. Springfest, we do have our 5th grade fundraiser. It's going to be Saturday, April 30th from 12 to 5 p.m. It's going to be at Wantagh Elementary in the DeMart Avenue parking lot. It's very, very exciting. We're going to have a lot of raffle baskets and great, exciting raffle items, so keep a lookout for that. Save the date for Adventureland. We have a fundraiser for the 5th grade. It's going to be May 10th, and the park will be closed to the public. Details are going to follow with that too, so that'll be exciting. As always, we do also have our Amazon Smile participation and Stop and Shop. That gives percentage of money back to the school when you spend money, so that's also excellent. We have an in-school assembly coming up as well. Retired teacher Mrs. Karen Courage is going to come in, so that's super exciting. Yay, yes, some of you may know she did write a book, so we're very proud of her. We're excited for her to come in. And she's going to be coming in during our PARP week, which is going to be from February 28th through March 4th. And that team does a wonderful job, that committee, and they're going to do a lot of exciting activities as well. Take care and thank you.
Thank you. SEPTA?
Hello, everyone. So last week we had a really great meeting. It was virtual. We had Sensory Beans, which is a great local resource. It's a sensory gym in the area. They came and spoke about their program, and we also had our old friend Tony Walker, who is the new director of the Nassau County PAL Special Needs Unit. So he was talking about all of the great athletic programs and also academic programs that are available to people with disabilities in the area. All of the information can be found on our website. Our next meeting is March 16th. We're going to have Dodie Daniels, who's the Long Island Regional Coordinator of Parent to Parent, which is a really great resource. And she's going to be focusing on OPWDD and self-direction. So if you have a child that has needs and you worry about what life will look like after high school, I really encourage you to join us. We're going to try and do it in person and virtually, but it really is an important process and it's a complicated process. So if you come and get, at least a little bit of information, it can start kind of motivating you to make decisions for the future. Our scholarships, we give out a lot of scholarships to our students at the end of the year. You can download them online. We have our website. You would need a teacher recommendation. I think they're also available in guidance. Annual review season is upon us. So if you have any questions or concerns going into your meeting, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to support you. Our membership drive is open. We really encourage you to join SEPTA, and in order to be eligible to be a recipient of the scholarship, the parent has to be a member of SEPTA as well. Our fundraisers, the past 2 years have really hit us hard, so our funds are pretty low, so we're really relying on our upcoming fundraisers. Normally in March we do a whole St. Patrick's Day thing, but due to the circumstances, I think we're going to put that off, but we are going to have another fundraiser coming up. We're partnering with a company called John's Crazy Socks, which is a local organization that employs people with disabilities, and they have all different themed socks. So we're going to partner up with them to celebrate Down Syndrome Awareness Day, which is March 21st, and also Autism Awareness Month, which is the month of April. So be on the lookout for that and try and participate. We're also going to try and have some Wantagh themed socks as well. We also want to thank the Vecchio family. They decorated their house beautifully for the holiday season, and they had a donation box, and they donated their proceeds to us. So we were very, very thankful for them. And we just want to congratulate the retirees. Thank you.
$612. PTA Council. Booster. Bandwagon. Drama Club.
Hi, everybody. Just giving an update on the theater programs. The middle school play, as Mr. McNamara said, is Matilda. The show dates are March 3rd through the 6th. Ticket sales are up and running, so come support the kids and watch them perform. It's great that they're finally back up on the stage. The high school show is Crazy for You. The dates are going to be April 7th through the 10th. I don't have too much more about that, but the kids are rehearsing, and we are having a fun family pizza night, kit night, with pies on Broadway, and we'll be sending out flyers for that pretty soon. So that's all I have for theater. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will read a statement from the board. Our board understands that this pandemic has impacted our school community in many different ways. As members of the Board of Ed, we have been seeing firsthand how the last 2 years have brought unprecedented challenges for our school community. We are proud of how our district has responded to mandates to educate, feed, and care for our students in very different and frequently challenging ways. We've been successfully providing in-person instruction to our students since September of 2021. This has provided students with access to not only an education, but all of the other supports and enrichment activities our schools provide. As numbers begin to point to a need to shift from pandemic planning to endemic planning, we join the voices with others to request that the planning for school transition as well. We've asked for a clear date indicating when mask wearing in schools will no longer be required, and clarity about the ongoing need for the other mitigation strategies that schools have put into place. We also ask our New York State leadership for sufficient time to communicate any upcoming changes that will be the key to success for the next phase of this process, ensuring a smooth pathway and a return to normalcy. We know this has not been easy on the community, but we also know the strength of our community and our ability to continue to rise to meet challenges, and look forward to coming together as a community to provide outstanding educational opportunities for all our students. Thank you. The microphone is now open for 30 minutes.
Hello, you already know me. I've been up here multiple times before. I'm a 9th grader from Wantagh High School. And I just wanted to say, personally, the mask wearing is doing nothing for us. We had a day, probably a week ago, where we didn't have to wear a mask in school. As you saw, the numbers are not higher, they're actually lower than they were. And most kids who came to school did not wear a mask. And same, nowadays, they still don't wear a mask. So if the numbers are still lower, and instead of going up when we did have a day where basically nobody wore a mask, why do we have to wear a mask every day if this was the numbers? Second of all, nobody wears a mask in school. I walk around school the whole day with barely no mask. Teachers yell at me, people talk to me, I get told all day to pull my mask up, but I'm still wearing no mask. Even if your mask is below your nose, it's still doing nothing for you. The CDC and the science says, well, cloth masks aren't good for you. Well, most people wear cloth masks in school, which means that the people who wear no mask, the people who wear it below their nose, and the people who wear cloth masks are all in the same boat here. And the vaccines do nothing to prevent you from the virus. The most protection you could have is natural immunity, which most kids have, seeing that the numbers are so high, but we've all had it before. So why would we need the vaccine if we already have natural immunity? So the vaccine would be not good, and masks do nothing for us. It says it on the box, and it says it does not prevent COVID-19. I've read the boxes before. This has become my life now. I'm a 9th grader. I should not be worrying about my rights as a US citizen when other things are going along freely in our country. That is not stopping anything. This is unconstitutional and not good for any children. It's just making me go crazy as a person. I'm already worrying about college classes and stuff about my future. I don't need to worry about a mask that's gonna hold me back from stuff. And why are we even listening to our governor? We did not elect her she's not our governor. The people did not elect her. This is a people's democracy. And democracy is where the people run the government. The government is based on the people. We just learned this, it came from Athens in Greece, which we just learned in school. That's where we got our government from. The people vote and it's the people's choice. So if we're listening to basically a governor who's telling us what to do and mandating it, when she doesn't even have foot to mandate it, because it is unconstitutional, why are we listening? This is not our choice. We just want it to be optional. We don't care if you wear the mask. We don't care if you don't wear the mask. We just want it to be our choice. Thank you for listening.
Good job.
Hello, I'm Maggie Massari, a sophomore and student of Wantagh High School. This pandemic has mentally took a toll on me since the 8th grade. The day I found out we had 2 weeks off from this virus called COVID-19, I was thrilled. What kid wouldn't be? Then just to find out the whole year was canceled, I felt like I was living in a horror movie. I was, and all other kids were isolated for about 3 months. Ever since, I haven't been the same. We have been promised for 2 years how these masks would be temporary. It doesn't seem like it. When is it going to be the end? I suffer every day trying to understand my teachers and fellow students. I can't make bonds with my teachers or students. I constantly get told to put up my mask. Now, the one day we were allowed to have a choice, it was fine though. Our survival rate as kids is 99.99%. Our age group has the highest percent. COVID-19 is less of a threat than the flu. Why didn't we have to wear masks when for that virus? Oh, and also cold, straps, and also other harmful sicknesses. People are so beyond worried about students wearing their masks, but not actually how they feel. I can most definitely say I went through a depressive stage during COVID. Knowing I have to wear them to school every day makes me feel like I'm trapped with no choice. Depression and anxiety has also skyrocketed, with now 1 in 4 students suffering from anxiety and 1 in 5 with depression. This is due from feeling lonely, socially isolated, and stressed. At such a young age, this could affect someone's future. We are growing up, and this is affecting students mentally and physically. As a student, I will tell you, I feel like this board is not putting in enough effort to help your students. Teachers and students are able to do whatever makes them feel safe. Some get triple vaccinated, others a double mask. But why can't I make my own choice? It is my body, so it should be my choice. Until this board decides to counsel with students or parents like me, I will continue to express my feelings every day until you help us all make the right change. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Juliana and I am in 9th grade. I wish I was here again to talk about better things, but here we are again in front of this whole crowd talking about the same things over and over again because of these unfair, unjust mandates being thrown at kids like us. I am in 9th grade, and ever since 7th grade, my life has been flipped upside down from COVID. From quarantine to masks to vaccines, I feel that everything has been forced down our throats from the beginning. Kids like me have been forced to sit in classrooms with masks that have blocked us from learning the proper way, being able to hear our teachers properly, and have put a clear strain on our mental health, not to mention the harmful effects of them, which I'm sure you already know about. I'm not here to teach you about the effects that masks really have on us, but instead to express how I feel about the situation. When I'm in my mask, I feel trapped and unable to speak loudly and clearly as I normally do. I get headaches often from lack of air, and I feel as though it's hard to communicate in general. As a student who loves school, I'm starting to hate it. As a freshman, I'm starting to understand how to make decisions for myself based off of what I know about the world and myself as a person. But yet not one of you has really considered what it's like to sit in a classroom all day and wear a mask and not have air and listen to our teachers consistently tell us to pull it up. When I am not wearing my mask, I feel so happy and I feel as though I am truly free after these 2 long years of complying to all this dumb stuff, to say the least. The one day we went to school with a choice to not wear it, everyone was so much happier. And I would see people's faces in the hallway and think, wow, it's great to see that people are finally done. And it's great to see that people like me also want a choice. And for a second, I thought maybe we were one step back to normal. And the truth is, that's all everyone wants. There's no feeling to describe how I feel with all these mandates. I fear that one day you will lose a good student and a good person like me and the girls over here due to these mandates, including vaccine and masks, which I will be pulled out of school for. I understand you all see it from a different perspective since you guys sit in your offices all day with your masks off, but I hope you understand how we all feel, and I hope you continue to look out for your students and fight for us through all this craziness. I appreciate your time.
Hello, my name is Kennedy John, and I'm in 3rd grade at Wantagh Elementary School. I'm here tonight to say that I don't like wearing masks. It makes school hard because people tell us to keep them up all the time. I can't breathe so well in them, and I haven't been free for 2 years. I would like to breathe someday. I hope it is soon. Thank you. Hello, my name is Emerson Dunn. I am in 2nd grade and I go to Wantagh Elementary School. I want to say that I feel sad with the mask on. I cannot breathe and it makes learning hard. My friends and I say that we do not like the masks. Sometimes we cry. We are so sad. Sometimes when I go to school, I feel sad because people tell us to keep the masks on. I want to stop wearing them. Thank you.
My name is Juliana, and I'm in 7th grade. And us as students and citizens of America and humans should be able to have every right to decide whether or not we need a mask to protect us and our loved ones. We shouldn't have to get permission to breathe. Masks do nothing but worsen us as children. I can list reasons why I should not have to wear a mask, and I will. 1, we tend to hide ourselves behind masks. We are most likely the most unstable generation, and the mask plays a huge role in that. Sure, we hide our pimples and blemishes behind masks, but we also hide our voices and ambition. We have become so attached to hiding ourselves behind a piece of literal paper or cloth, and it is unhealthy to our developing brains. 2, masks cause us aches, headaches, and not typo, acne and rashes. Masks create heat and friction against the face when combined with our breathing, sweating, and even talking creates clogged pores, creating rashes and pimples. This is the last thing any middle schooler wants or needs right now. 3, teachers stop lessons to tell us to put a mask up or go on a tangent about it. I, as a student, have had this teacher, and most do. We have been sent down to the office for having a mask under our nose before, limiting our education, leaving us behind on our work. I have personally been sent down, and I had missed most of this lesson because my teacher wanted me to go down to the office. When I got back, I had to get work from my friends that I missed when I could have easily been there myself. I have had a teacher tape masks on kids' faces before. We are learning less and hearing more about mask wearing in a classroom environment than our actual lesson. We have missed parts of work because our teacher has stopped the lesson to tell us that we have to wear our mask correctly, and if we don't, we will have to go down to the office, and we have them down for a reason. For our ears hurt. The strap on a mask causes us to have sore ears by the end of the day. After a long day of talking, laughing, and gum chewing, we get literal pain on our ears. The strap puts pressure on skin, causing irritation. 5, we can't breathe. We feel trapped. We have this piece of fabric covering where we breathe, and now we just feel a hot loss of breath where we should be able to have our fresh air and rather than our own CO2. This leads to headaches and us feeling more pain on top of the ears. 6, we can't hear each other. God knows how many times we have written down the wrong thing or misheard something that could be crucial to our education for all we know because the mask makes it impossible for us to read lips or hear correctly. 7, we will be happier. Remember that day when we got to unmask? Remember how happy everyone was. I walked down the hallway and saw everybody smiling and in a good mood, and it felt as though the school was a brighter place. Everyone had a bright smile on their face, which plays into my next reason. 8, we can't see smiles. We are sadder and madder with the mask. Smiles are just as contagious as the Black Plague of 1346. When we see people smile, we feel happier. Not seeing people smile makes us feel sad. We can't even see if our friends like that joke or if they are okay. My friend cried many times this week, and I had no idea because her mask was on her face. We need to see smiles in order to be happy. Aside from those facts, there are many more, but I, as the writer of this thing I wrote, feel as those are the most important. Don't get me wrong, if you or a family member feel that you need a mask or you truly do need one due to sickness or weakened immune system, that is completely fine. But by all means, do what you need to do. But many of us do not need one, and it is unfair that we have to forcefully feel all of the things I have listed above when we have nothing for it in the end. The mandate says that adults have an option, but not kids. Fun fact, kids have a 0.24% chance of dying from this literal common cold, while out of every 100,000 adults with COVID, only 93 die, and that's not even a lot. We will one day be old people who could have had a voice and changed the world, but no, our childhood, which we only get once, was hidden behind a mask, which has been proven to be useless by the CDC. So if you want this to end, do something. And that's all I have written.
I just wanted to add a little something to that. Bill A8398 is being pushed in state senate, which bans religious exemptions and mandate vaccines. Wake up, people.
Way to go for those kids for speaking up. That was awesome. Good, way to go. Good evening. My name is Marilyn Rich. My children attend school in the district. I, like so many others, had hoped to come here today with a much different story regarding the mandates. I'd like to first thank the board for finally writing a letter to the governor. In my opinion, the letter could have been worded with more conviction. We need to stop asking. We need to start demanding an end date to this now. I have been actively fighting alongside other parents against these mandates, which are illegal and unconstitutional, for months. I have called and emailed every politician repeatedly, organized calls to action, and have shared resources with parents to do the same. What a lot of people fail to understand is that it's not just about the mask. This will never go away if we keep following these mandates. Parents are angry about masks. Just wait until we get to vaccines. This week, Randi Weingarten, president of the American Federation Teachers Union, said she wants our children in masks until there is zero transmission of COVID in schools. Zero transmission. That will never happen. The vaccine doesn't even stop transmission. Ironically, the governor this week failed to lift the mask mandates. I don't think that's a coincidence. Every single teacher should be protesting Randi Weingarten right now. Our unelected governor bypassed the legislative process to put these mandates into place and violated SAPA laws. The only court ruling that is on the books right now states that these mandates are unconstitutional. Today, there was another emergency extension. So the 2/21 date, as we know, is off the table. The governor has once again left us with no end in sight. The board took an oath to uphold the state and federal constitution. The mask mandate is unconstitutional. The New York State Education Department's recommendation do not trump our Constitution. They don't. It's time the board stands up. We need to stand up for the rights of our children. It's time the board follows the Constitution. Additional lawsuits have surfaced in the state of New York and will continue to be filed until this is resolved because the governor overstepped her authority. And everyone who followed these unconstitutional mandates has violated the rights of our children. All of our neighboring states have an end date for the mask mandates. While I think it should end today with the rest of the state is how it should have been, we need to demand a firm end date to this madness. Local politicians have already expressed they side with parental choice and will support school boards. It's time to mobilize with every single district and call her bluff. This needs to end now. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jessica Almazi. My daughter and son are in Mandalay. And I'm running for school board. So a question dawned in my head. What's the name of that law firm again that we pay a $30,000 retainer to that 50 other districts in the downstate region retain? Anyone know it? That's right. But why did it take a pro bono move from a Belmore attorney to get it to action and to have this extremely draconian executive order overturned? Perhaps it's time we hire a different law firm. The penalty, according to the executive order, and from doing some digging, is if we were to, as a district, go against the governor, we would be penalized 15%. The school budget, the year before this most recent one, was $62 million. We voted and got it raised to $82 million. If we lose federal funding or state funding, we lose 15%. That means our new budget is $69 million. That's still higher than the previous year. So our school board can willfully not listen to Governor Hochul because we'll still have more money in our budget than the prior year when everything was fine. The board operation goals and the Board of Education, as a legally constituted body of elected representatives, bears the responsibility of setting policy for the school district. You set the policy, we elect you. The board acts in accordance with the authority and the responsibility vested in federal and state laws, rules, regulations on behalf of the district's citizens in order to ensure that educational programs provide all students with a high-quality education. I feel like you're willfully refusing to hear your audience. You're willfully refusing. You're willfully refusing to hear the outcry and the outrage of the parents. And the last BOE meeting, which was about a month or so ago, we discussed that there would be a penalty. The penalty is 15%. So if we were able to run the school district with 62 million, I'm sure we can take a stand and run it with 69. I ask you to take a stand. Don't hide behind the masks, because when you guys come down here and sip your water and take your photos, you take them down.
My name's Eric Hawken from Wantagh. A couple of things have been repeated. Everybody's been so great with their information. I heard you guys were advocating for no masks. If you're advocating, how about you all take them off right now? Show us that you're advocating. Join the lawsuit, exactly. If you're scared of losing your funding, which we heard before, call her bluff. Like we said, you have a great community here. All these parents would volunteer. We'd pick up stuff. We would get together. You guys send out emails like you always do. These parents in Wantagh will pick up the slack for you, no problem, with your funding. Show us you care for your children. You're all teachers. We understand how difficult all your positions are, especially now. All you gotta do is follow your heart and your gut and do what's best for the children. Right now, it's not being done. If you want the kids to wear masks, I think you guys should all put Wantagh School District on them and say that your children will not contract COVID from wearing our masks. If you guys are not willing to do that, take your mask off, because it's all BS. All your names right now are on the wrong side of history, because when history comes out, this is going to be the biggest sham ever. Stand up. It's never too late. Never too late to stand up and do what's right. It's for the kids. Thank you.
I'm Jean DiBiase, and I'm from Wantagh. Thousands of school districts around the country have been opened throughout the entire pandemic without masks. Let me repeat that. Thousands of school districts around the country have been opened throughout the entire pandemic without masks. 37 states don't require masks, and several Democratic states just announced they will be taking away the mask mandate in the coming days. And there has been no corresponding rise in serious illness of COVID-19 in children. Now, for a long time, our children can be anywhere without a mask. Currently, at lunchtime, the high school kids can leave the school grounds, go out to a restaurant, and yet when they come back to the school, they're wearing their mask. Does that make sense? Many kids get together all day, every day without a mask, but not in school. Does this make sense?
So do they. So do all you.
Truth. The kids are not the problem. We all know this virus affects older people or compromised individuals. With the non-existent pandemic, we are living under tyrannical rule, forcing kids to wear a mask at school but nowhere else. This completely makes sense, right? There is definitely a bigger agenda with our government and the world leaders, and none of them can prove with science, only common sense to us. Today, the Public Health Planning Council had a meeting, and they stated they do not have any statistics, methods, or scientific studies to determine if the masks work. What does that tell you? It tells me these people in power are sick, and common sense says they all need to resign. What will it take for everyone here to realize that our freedoms are being taken away to feed the power of the globalists? Correct. Nothing makes sense. I spoke at previous board meetings and against the mask and vaccines, and it was stated by Mr. McNamara that the governor and not the schools create the mandates. That is obvious. Again, I'm going to reiterate what I said previously. We need to fight together against these tyrannical mandates. We are stronger together. All of the superintendents in all of the districts need to come together and fight against Governor Hochul. All of the attorneys that work for the schools needs to come together and fight against Hochul. We are a country that is supposed to be governed by the people according to the Constitution. What is really going on? Hochul is running our state like a dictator, and everyone is following her. This is happening with no recourse and no facts to back up her reasoning for doing so. We, the people, have a right to speak our minds without censorship and have freedom of choice as citizens under the United States Constitution. Everyone in this meeting and many at home would like to know why you're choosing to follow dictator Hochul as opposed to the Constitution that governs our land that is based on our freedom. You are bowing down to her rather than using your voice. You are continuing to comply, not showing leadership. All of you are not fighting for what is right. You are hurting the very kids you want to protect. And additionally, you have stated in these board meetings you want to teach kids to think critically for themselves. Yet you, as role models in the school administration and the Board of Ed, are not doing it yourselves. We're not reaching out to the community. You're not reaching out to the community and finding ways to help this situation. Instead, you are acting like puppets, doing whatever the government of New York State is telling you to do. The letter the school sent out to the governor, Hochul, was an atrocity. Your letter was asking for guidance from the governor in which you will do whatever she dictates. The hell with parental choice, local control, fighting for our kids' freedom. An email was sent by the Board of Ed to the parents stating they would not be entering into the ambiguous brief, as it would further divide the community. Further divide, huh? All of the parents speaking out for parental choice feel that you are dividing the community by not pursuing and fighting for our kids and parental rights. By not standing up for our freedom is what is dividing the community. Allowing for choice would give people the option to wear or not to wear a mask. People who do not agree with parental choice are selfish. They are trampling on the rights of others. Someone said to me, "What about my rights for my health?" "No one is taking that away from you," I said. Wear the mask, don't wear the mask. But someone forcing my family to wear a mask is taking away my rights. By standing up for freedom, you will be bringing everyone together as a community. Everyone should worry about our freedom in this country. We all have to respect each other's opinions and values. Our quest for freedom is being trampled on, and we are at war. You are doing what you are told by the state, I understand. However, you are teaching our kids we must do whatever the government tells us and not fight for our constitutional rights. Communism, as someone said behind me. What would happen in history if we did not fight for our freedoms during the Civil War? Where would we be? You are not being a good role model to our kids. By the chance, be the change that helps fight. You can start now. It is never too late as you explain the same thing to your students. The district is furthering the divide by having no transparency, no discussions, and not joining other districts in the pursuit of freedom. I am asking you to step up and stop being on the losing side of history and show you want to fight for your students, our kids' right to choose. I feel you need to get past your fear. Look at your own kids. What will this world look like in your grandkids' generation? What would your grandkids say as to what you did to fight for their constitutional freedoms like our veterans have done in years past? We are at war, and all of us must stand up to be warriors against the tyrannical rule. Conquer your fear and fight for all of our freedoms. Today, the Public Health Council met with and accepted all the full mask coverings for regulatory and emergency capacity. That gives Governor Hochul the extension she needs to get closer to the permanent regulation meeting by Department of Health that will take effect for 19 million people in New York State. The determination that was put in place by the Department of Health under tyrannical witch Hochul's orders was not a law, and it was illegal. The determination was deemed unconstitutional by the New York Supreme Court. Governor Hochul has circumvented and pushed these regulations through the back door using the Department of Health, and it will become law. This is serious. These regulations will have the full weight of the law. All face coverings, vaccine mandates, isolations, quarantines, detention camps will always be on the books in regulation form and not have gone through our assembly. Our governor will have full control. These regulations are written vaguely, and our livelihoods will change forever. Governor Hochul is not about representing the people. She is all about control. What is her agenda? Everyone needs to ask this. It is not about public health. We all know this is a bogus point of view. We're asking the administration, we're asking the Board of Ed to step into the arena and do whatever it takes to show leadership. Have support and fight for our freedoms for the kids and parents in our community. Thank you.
How you doing? Matt Hawkins from Belmore. my fellow Americans, we are in the midst of the biggest scam perpetrated by our government against its people. Our government once again has chosen lining their greased pockets with unfathomable profits over the people's well-being. All the data suggests that they took the cold and the flu and relabeled it some scary superbug that somehow can't be treated the same way by tried and proven medicine like steroids, Z-Paks, amoxicillin, etc. Instead, they gave people deadly treatments such as remdesivir and many other gene therapies such as monoclonal antibodies. And the most egregious was using ventilators to blow out people's lungs by pushing forced air into inflamed lungs. All those people were murdered for profit. And we can see the pure evil of our government by the stocks they acquired during this scamdemic. The absolute insanity of the people who are supposed to represent us having a stock market which they are allowed to manipulate to gain profits by any means necessary, inside trading, but even worse than that, coordinating with drug companies to make a fake pandemic and push deadly drugs at the command of their big pharma masters is beyond imagination. But that's precisely what they have done. And they have given us a slam dunk criminal case to impeach, imprison, and if need be, capital punishment. We could clearly prove now that this was the flu and the cold, and by taking their stocks portfolio showing the clear coordination with companies to make money off crimes against humanity. In closing, take the mask off these kids and be on the right side of history. And for the love of God, will someone please explain how an experimental gene therapy treats a lung infection? Oh, that's right, it cannot. Just like a child wearing a dirty mask all day will not stop a lung infection. But what it will do is cause bacterial pneumonia, psychological damage, fungus of the mouth, bacterial infections on the face, lower IQ, learning disabilities, and many more adverse reactions. This must stop right now. Thank you, and God bless America, and shame on all of you.
Hi, I'm Shannon Dunn. I am born and raised in Wantagh. I am speaking on behalf of Wantagh alumni friends and also as a parent of 3 children, 2 of whom go to Wantagh Elementary. 3 out of the 4 of my siblings stayed here in Wantagh for the great schools and amazing community. If there's anyone that knows me, there was no other place that I wanted to raise my family. I am sad to say that I feel our community and schools have not been fully supportive of us, and I feel our Board of Administration are not fighting for our children. Wantagh was never like this. They always supported our students and community members. With all surrounding towns that are fighting for our children and supporting their children, we do not feel the same support. Our emails at times go unanswered, and we feel that we are not being supported by those who we've elected. Listen to the words of our children and our community members.
Joe Dunn. I'll be short. I am short, but just trying to lighten the mood in here. So tomorrow morning, you're going to get an email with a link to a YouTube video. It's a video of 150 photos that were submitted of students from the Wantagh School District, and we put together Wantagh Parents for Choice. We put it together. It's a 10-minute video, and we're all asking that you really take the time to listen to the children. They deserve your full attention on that video. Unfortunately, though, we would have gotten a lot more than 150 photos. Many parents flooded our emails with concerns having their child in the slideshow. Some went as far as to tell us that their children are being bullied at school by the children of board members. We find this disheartening that our elected officials are promoting such discrimination within our schools. Our children need to know they're safe. They need to know we support them. Please watch the video. They deserve your attention. Thank you.
I'm not short.
Hi, my name is Christine Lindquist. I have 14 relatives in this district, 3 of my own children. As a lifelong member of this community, it has always brought me great pride to say that I remained here so that my children could have the same positive experience I did. a product of Wantagh schools. In fact, I became a teacher because of the wonderful educators who walk these same halls, 2 of which actually retired this evening. My kids love attending school here and have made lifelong friends in the process. However, in recent months, I've questioned my decision to remain in this district due to the lack of transparency this board has provided. Great leadership is created with a foundation of open communication. Unfortunately, the silence is deafening. Please understand that I am not ignorant to the process of our current mandates issued by Governor Hochul. I'm not an extremist who spews propaganda in an effort to defend my narrative. I live and breathe these mandates daily, in my classroom, as a lead building rep for my teachers union, and through conversations with my children. I understand in many instances your hands are tied and that state funding is dangled like a carrot. However, in light of my understanding, I'm greatly concerned about one issue. You have yet to take a stand. Unlike other districts who have surveyed the masses to see how the vast majority of parents and community members feel, you have remained silent, and that silence is deafening. As elected officials, you are our voice. You owe the community and our children any protection you can provide within your limitations. You have the power to communicate the social, emotional, and divisive toll the mandates have had on our kids. I have read Mr. McNamara's correspondence, and although I thoroughly appreciate his plea for metrics and guidance from the state, it still leaves me with an uneasy feeling. Again, what is your stance? Because your silence is deafening. The parents of this community, like many other Long Island communities, have had enough. What I'm asking for is simple: choice. I implore you to learn your audience. I pray that within the next few weeks, the mask mandate will be lifted and become a moot point. What concerns me and other parents is, where do you stand on future potential mandates? Where is your voice? Even if it is for optics, why are you not showing solidarity with the surrounding districts as well as the countless other Long Island districts in the joint to stay to Governor Hochul? If your silence is indicative of your support of the mask mandate and other future potential mandates, such as the vaccine, let it be known. Own your views and share them with the people who entrust the lives of their children in your hands, not due to your power, but due to your platform. Again, the silence is deafening. Finally, if this is the case and you don't support choice, let my presence sink in. I am confident in telling you that I do represent the masses. I represent the hardworking community members who want the ability to parent their own children and make decisions for their own household. If we do not come together as a community and fight our current governor's tyrannical leadership, what are we teaching our children? Complacency, or even worse, blind ignorance in the face of adversity? As everyone is aware, there are 2 Board of Ed seats open for the 2020 election this year. I thoroughly appreciate all of you volunteering your time in support of our district's educational needs. However, it is now time for a change. Either speak up and fight for our freedom, for our right to choose, or kindly step down. Because your silence is deafening, and the parents of this community will not be silent anymore. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Liz Haynes. I'm also a lifelong resident here in Wantagh and a current teacher in the neighboring district of Belmore. I'm here tonight to also express my concerns over the current mandates and the district's communication with the governor regarding them. While I too appreciate the letter that was written by the Board of Education and Mr. McNamara, I also feel that the district needs to take a stronger stance and advocate instead for parental choice. We teach our youngest learners to think win-win, coming up with a solution that will make both parties happy. Parental choice is a win-win here. There are 2 sides to the current debate. One side would like to continue to mask their children and provide them with vaccines. The other side, however, including myself, does not believe in the continued mask mandates, nor the need to vaccinate our children. Parental choice should satisfy both sides of this debate. If you'd like to wear your mask, vaccinate, and get boosted, that's fine, that's your choice. If I choose to send my children to school without a mask and don't want to vaccinate them, that's my choice. If you believe in the efficacy of masks and that vaccines do protect you, then it should be no matter what I do or what I have my children do. Parental choice is the win-win here. I want the right to choose for myself and my family in the same way that other families choose to wear their masks and get vaccines. We cannot continue to demand that our children are masked in school to protect the greater good. Our children continue to suffer on a daily basis, socially, emotionally, and physically. It's time that we stand up for them and begin to use common sense rather than listen to the mandates and the politicians surrounding us. Please, I implore you to do more than just ask for metrics and guidance. I ask you to write to the governor and ask for parental choice. The actions of the governor and the correspondence from the district are what continue to drive a wedge here in our community. We need to return to normalcy as the rest of the country is. Our children certainly deserve it. Everyone needs to open up their eyes to the bigger picture here. It's really about control and power, and we need to stand up to the hypocrisy that we're surrounded by. If we don't stand up for our freedoms now, it's only going to get worse. You have the power to send a clear message that should speak to everyone in our community. It's parental choice.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Stotler, and I too am a lifelong resident of Wantagh. My parents both graduated from Wantagh. I have a kindergartner in Wantagh Elementary School, and I have two younger that I will be damned that will be wearing a mask by the time that they get to kindergarten. With that said, I want to take a look around here. There are so many Wantagh alumni, people that come back, people that stay. They did that for a reason. What we're seeing now is not Wantagh. The division, this is not Wantagh. I stayed here. My husband wanted to stay here. My friends from high school stayed here. We did it because administration, the board, the community all worked together. That is not the case. No one is feeling supported. We understand that a lot of these things are out of your hands. However, you hear the crowd, you know what is expected, you know what we are begging for at this point, and it's a stronger voice. I'd also like to say, and I truly mean this, 2 years ago, I thank you. I thought that the school and schools around us did a wonderful job. You protected the children, you made quick modifications to instruction. As a teacher, myself, and as a parent, I genuinely thank you. But we are not where we were 2 years ago. This is a different world. You know the facts. I'm not going to read data. You know the facts. You know the studies. Do the right thing. Yes, they're lies. Do the right thing and support the people that you're supposed to be supporting so that we can feel comfortable staying in the community that we all grew up in, came back to, or stayed in for a reason. So thank you very much. I really hope that tonight gives you guys some consideration. Think about the times that you leave this building with your mask off. Meetings, family gatherings, friends, leagues, whatever you're all part of, you know the truth. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Trisha Stasi. I have two children in Wantagh Elementary, a first grader and a fifth grader. I'm also the co-admin of Wantagh Parental Choice, and I'm super happy to see that so many of our group members came out tonight. We're almost 900 and growing, and I think there'd be a lot more if there wasn't such a stigma in Wantagh about having parental choice and our children being affected at school. Out of respect for everybody here tonight, including the board, I'm not going to read most of my notes, but that's fine. But I just want to say that I did not grow up in Wantagh. I moved here 6 years ago. I was going to Massapequa, and then everybody said, go to Wantagh, it's where you want to be. That's the school district. They have the best of everything. Go to Wantagh. And I came to Wantagh, and you know what? In a lot of ways, I do the best of everything because my kids have the greatest teachers on the planet and more opportunity here than in a lot of other places on Long Island. But what I will say, and I'm a teacher, so Board of Eds are nothing new to me, that this can't go on this way. I have a lot of respect for you, I really do. And this is new to me too, because I don't know the intricacies of what you all do. It's become another full-time job for our group, and I take that on proudly because we are up all hours of the night learning about what does it take? What are you all doing for us? I appreciate the letter that you wrote, Superintendent McNamara, but it left us out of it again. It did not mention parents at all, and that is not okay. I'm sorry, it's not okay. We deserve to be heard, seen, talked about. We beg you, we write you, we call you. I've never once received an email back from the Board of Ed. I appreciate the emails back from you, Superintendent McNamara, but it's not enough. It's not. And you know what? I can leave New York and no one would care if I left. I will absolutely pull my kids. I will move someplace else. It doesn't matter if I leave. What matters is what we teach our kids here while they're here. And I have a 6-year-old, and I'm not going to teach her anymore that sharing a crayon in her first grade classroom is going to give her COVID. I'm not going to teach my 10-year-old that he's still 2 years later potentially going to kill his grandparents. I'm not going to do it. And no one in this room should be either. So what we should be telling them is, we're going to stand up for you. We're going to do what makes sense. And Mr. McNamara, I just want to say that in your letter on February 3rd, which I appreciate, you said, it is crucial to recognize the rules which defy common sense or are inconsistently applied threaten to undermine public acceptance of all rules. You have to stand behind those words. This defies common sense, and this board is an intelligent board. You are required, though, to stand up and say, we can't continue this way, and we will not continue this way. Our community can't go on like this. We can't. We are at the boiling point. We're here. We're all checking in. We're at the boiling point. We need to have action from all of you. We have to, because in your words, it defies common sense. You are all our bottleneck. You took an oath and you set goals, and I've been through those goals. And Series 1000, item number 3, understand community attitudes and aspirations for the schools. You have not understood ours. Item 6, promote a spirit of cooperation among the board, the schools, and the community. There is none. Item 7, develop and maintain the confidence of the community with the board. We are lacking confidence significantly. Item 12, develop and maintain an effective means of communication with the people of this district. I've never received an email back to date. Series 2000, item 1, work closely with the community to ensure the board actions and performance take into consideration the concerns and aspirations of the community. Has not been done. Series 2260, the board shall, at its discretion and in accordance with state law, appoint a citizens advisory committee of representative residents to meet with the board to provide advice and reaction about important matters which may have special significance for the community. We've asked for a town hall, we've asked for a parent committee, and we've been told no several times. And finally, section 5 of your goals, item B and C, continue to hold community forums and survey the community around critical issues as they develop. We've never once been polled or surveyed, and we have asked and begged again and again and again. And in closing, because I want to be respectful of everybody else, we're the ones that are constantly on the phone and calling Chris Carini, Blue Spake Brain, assemblymen. We're advocating doing the legwork, and we will continue to do that. But we are asking, I will beg, whatever word term you need, to say that we need your help, and now is the time. There are 56 districts in Nassau County, many of which are willing to work together, and we could start by having a committee that represents all of us and group together and say enough is enough is enough, because in your words, Superintendent McNamara, it defies common sense. Thank you.
How are you? Matthew Rich. Once again, I will not speak as eloquently as my wife, but I will try. One thing she did mention was about the teachers union president, Randy Weingarten, who not only said zero transmission, but also noted that they want kids wearing masks until 80% of the children are vaccinated. So now we're getting to the truth of the matter, and we all knew this all along the way. Matter of fact, most of the people in this room have probably said it time and time again, but we were called crazies, conspiracy theories. It all led to vaccine mandates. You're crazy. It'll never happen here. We'll never let that happen. We'll never get to that. Well, we're here because it's coming, right? And Huckle, our dictator, is sitting there in Albany taking advice and taking direction from the teachers union president. And we're sitting here with what? With a board who never responds back to anybody. Mr. McNamara, we appreciate your communication back and forth, but we never hear anything from you guys, ever. You don't talk, but you sit up there, blind stares. Are you guys even alive up there right now? You do nothing. Do something. We've been coming here since June last year with the same concerns every single time. And I ask the same question every single time because I don't think the teachers union elects you or appoints you to this board, right? So we elect you to this board. And so the point is, in order the elections are coming up, we need to know which one of you, what are your personal stances on vaccine mandates, on mask mandates? Speak. I don't think you guys know how to, since August, you haven't spoken. Speak. Tell us your personal position. We need to know, because the vote is coming up. We need to know. And you know what? And we realize that our elected officials are no longer got our back. And, you know, John Locke in his second treatise to governments, and Thomas Jefferson and our patriots and our founding fathers had a saying called an appeal to heaven. And as educators, I'm sure you know about that. We cannot rely for redress from our our elected officials any longer, because you just ignore us. So we need to take it into our own hands. How that's going to happen yet, we don't know. Let's see. But come on, step up. Let's hear from you guys. Do your job. Thank you.
My name is Frank Messina. I have 2 children in the district. My daughter's in the middle school. My son's in Forest Lake. I don't envy any of you. I know, it's a thankless job, but I grew up in Brooklyn in the 80s, and the street I grew up on, I had 12 sets of parents, and they had 16 kids, because we all looked out for each other. When I moved to Wantagh, when I met my wife, she's like, we're moving to Wantagh. It's the best district. No, hands down. I was like, no, let's live in Brooklyn. No, not happening. Thank God I listened to my wife. The street I moved on to reminded me just about the street that I lived in Brooklyn. I took care of everybody's kids. We looked out for each other. My kids, I didn't have to worry, because I knew the parents would look out for them. That was in 2008. That's not the same Wantagh. This community is broken. Thankfully, a lot of people said what I wanted to say, so my stuff's pretty much cut in half. So, but I do want to say one thing. We do realize you have to follow our unelected governor's mandates. But I think it's safe to say what is upsetting a majority of parents, yes, we are the majority, okay, of Wantagh parents, your lack of transparency, your lack of communication. Again, Mr. McNamara, you're the only one who answers an email, but no disrespect, but they're very methodical, okay? And your obligation to the children of this community, you've all failed, every single one of you. You don't have to listen to one parent here tonight, because you heard from the children, okay? You heard from the children. Listen to the children, okay? I have a question for you as educated educators. Does anyone here on the board know who Isoroku Yamamoto is? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone a history teacher, major, anything? Okay, well, he was the admiral who led the attack on Pearl Harbor. You all know, you know what Pearl Harbor is? Okay. He said, after the attack, I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you the sleeping giant. And we are wide awake. Okay, so, I'm not trying to be like a tough guy here, whatever. Frankly, that other guy scared the crap out of me, so, but I request one thing. You are our leaders, you are our voice, okay? That's what the whole process is. This country was based on freedom of choice, okay? We just want you to fight for our children. Be the voice of the community, not just half of the community or the minority of the community. Listen to the community, okay? Because if you don't fight for our children, you need to be prepared to get audited. You need to be prepared to have the budget fail. You need to be prepared to have your bonds recalled and be prepared to lose your positions by elections or lawsuit, okay? The clock is ticking. Honestly, I don't think the board up here will be the same board I see next year, and I hope I don't. Listen to the children, okay? Because right now, I have full plans of dying an old man in my house in Wantagh. My house is pretty much going to be up for sale soon if things don't change in this community. I loved Wantagh. A week after I moved into my house, there was a marathon that left the high school. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And I sat out there with a chair with my wife, and we clapped him. I was like, this is great. I've embraced suburbia. I want out of New York. And that's a sad boy from Brooklyn who loves Brooklyn and New York. I'm done. Fight for our children, please.
Good evening, board. I left myself for last to give everybody that's talking about the mask respect, but I'm here on a separate note. I'm here to talk about next year's middle school sports. So what I want to do is, and that's something that I know you have control over, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you can say March 7th when you start the budgets. But I think it's important for, as a parent of student athletes, it's important for me to at least plant the seeds because you're starting the budget now. So I just took some quick notes and I look around and I'm really proud of looking at the logos that we have. And as proud as I am of the educational ribbons that we've earned, that we have merit for, I'm really proud as a parent of the extracurricular sports that this town has. I love that you showed that wrestling picture. My son is part of that. And if it wasn't for sports, some children may not be able to continue with college. That being said, I have 2 children. One is a middle schooler, but I did not realize the importance of the sports can affect his transcript because he may not be able scholastically or just academically reach the colleges he wants. So the quick notes that I wrote here is that word student athlete. It denotes both skill sets. I know that a lot of these parents say the teachers that we've had over the years are great. My children went to Wantagh L. I saw some of them retire. It's a beautiful thing. However, as I said, it's important for college. I think for middle school this year, as a 6th grade mom, my son is already worried because he may not be part of a team set. And these are children that work hard for that. So what I'm asking you to do for the budgets is to review where we can find funding to separate, as it always has, 7th and 8th grade sports. Because what has happened this year, when I hear that 80 children tried for football and only a handful made it, that also defeats their spirit. And it also takes away from other things that they can learn, such as mentoring from coaches, having peers, having some competition that the real world is going to give them. So what I'm going to ask from the board is feedback from the coaches and see how it went this year. I want to see how the students felt, not only what I heard from friends and the community that we obviously all love. I know we pay taxes, and I'm hoping that you definitely find room in the budget to bring back these great sports. And I want to plant the seeds today because I know that you're going to be heavily working on that now. So I thank you. I'm sorry, one more thing. I meant to say it. That wrestling, I'm so proud of it, but the wrestling department needs new mats. Please put that in. I think it's been since my son was 7. Thank you.
Chris Taylor, I'm sure you all know me up here. Outside of Mark Ferris, Paul Gazzone, I have zero confidence anyone up there. It's no shocker to you guys. Thank you for the sport. So just to let you know, my daughter's a senior in the high school. I could go on about some of the things that we had to deal with this administration. Former administration from the high school, Ms. Lievogel, Board of Ed members, male Board of Ed members. But you're exactly right about the sports, all right? My daughter, 90 average, going to Northwestern for lacrosse sports, gave her a vehicle to go to college. I think we had 11 girls on the lacrosse team last year, use that as a vehicle to go to college. Very important. But don't be fooled by the lack of communication and the parental choice. I'm not up here for that. I'll just give you this one. I commend the girls that got up here and the students that got up here and spoke. I tried to get my daughter. Her words, very sad. It's over, Dad. They don't care.
It's over. She knows. She knows. I can't wait to go to college and feel important. Sad, sad. And this isn't parental choice. Don't be fooled by this letter that they're getting on your good side. All right? I already had issues, false contact tracing, targeting. We're still going with targeting. Still had to meet with a teacher because she threatened her about, you're not into Northwestern yet, 90 average. All right, great, thanks. Had to take a day off for that one too. All right? So, the lack of communication, again, this was a letter, a detailed, long letter I emailed to the board, had to deal with things like equity, Title IX, false contact tracing, that I had to take 2 days off of work to fight and get her back in school. Other details going in there, I already said equity, Title IX. I'll just give you, I had it here. May 25th, 2021. Thank you for your email below. The items in your email are being reviewed and we'll follow up with you as soon as possible. Kind regards, Adam Fisher, Wantagh School District President of Board of Education. Never heard from you. Whoever the board is, we never heard from you. So you looked into these things, no one ever got back to me. So don't be fooled by the lack of transparency now and lack of communication. And I will say, I kind of keep to myself, circle small. I've had discussions with some people, thinking about running for the board, not sure yet. My daughter will be out of school. I don't have to worry about that. I'm not looking to get any awards for my kids. She's gone. I don't need a family member hired in this district. They all know I'll stand up to them and I'll discuss anything you want to talk about. I'm a teacher for 25 years. I know board policy. I know school district policy. I know student handbook policy that they all didn't follow over the past 3 years. Thank you. Have a good night.
I wanted to finish with one last thing. I know this puts a target on my back in school. I already have teachers on my case, and now they probably even know about me even more. Thousands of teachers come up to me in a day, tell me, put your mask on. I've had a teacher stop me and tell me, I have to watch you put your mask on. I see they don't trust me. I see what I've said, but this is unconstitutional and everything. Our school system has been broken since forever. I've watched documentaries on how broken our school system is all across the United States. It's only getting worse and worse. We're not doing anything to stop it. There's a new vaccine mandate that's being voted on February 15th, saying that nurses will be allowed to place vaccines into students without their parents' consent. This is going to be a huge problem if it passes. If a nurse comes near me, I am going to walk out of school because they are not going to touch me. This is going to be a huge problem. I pray it not passes because I love school. I love to learn. I'm always open to new ideas and everything. I have an opinion, and school has given me choices to look into, to see in depth with everything else. I have made my opinion. I have my own personal opinion and everything in general. But if any of this happens, nothing is going to be good from the outcome. Everything's broken. Everything is a mess. We all know it's probably not going to be fixed. As the previous guy's daughter said, Dad, it's over. It basically is over because everybody knows that nothing is going to happen. But we're still here. We're going to fight for it. This is going to be forever, but we don't want it to be. Thank you and have a nice day.
We wanted to end this off with one last thing. Half the school will not be at school tomorrow because of what's happening right now. This is what it's come to. Have a good one with no funding.
Thank you all for your comments tonight. That will end our public comment period. We appreciate all the feedback tonight. As mentioned, first of all, just to address the letter. Thank you for the feedback in terms of that. That was the intent was certainly to express to the governor some of the concerns with not having an end date, not having a metric. I appreciate the feedback. I want it to be a little bit stronger. We certainly have been advocating that way. And look, I understand everybody's frustration. Please know that, and I've had this conversation with some of you on a more individual basis, that there's a lot of behind the scenes work that we do as well. I have regular conversations with our local reps. We have also just, in some of our organizations that have a voice upstate, we advocate as well. We don't do those things publicly. I'm an agent of the state, so I have to tread very lightly in terms of that. Look, I just want to respond to a couple of things tonight, though. Just give me one minute, and then we'll wrap up. One is the just some of the monetary things that were said tonight. Just to clarify, I had made some comments at the last board meeting in terms of some of the hesitancy, right? In terms of what we have been told would happen in terms of state aid if we don't follow New York State mandates. It's a significant amount of money. I don't think people realize the impact. I don't. Please don't shout at me. I'm just trying. Please don't shout. Please don't shout. I'm happy to address it, but please don't shout. I don't think people truly understand the impact in terms of dollars that has on our community. You're talking, it was a little bit misrepresented earlier. Out of our budget, $18 million of our budget are directly funded by New York State. That's a heck of a lot of program. When we had some real difficult decisions in the spring over far less dollars, we had, unfortunate to the point about athletics, make some difficult decisions in terms of program. There's significant dollars at stake. And I hear you, someone had made the comment as someone had shouted up, I'm trading in, kids for dollars. The impact that would have to our programs and to our kids' experience in schools is significant. And that was one of the concerns. And I know direct conversations that were had with Albany and other districts that took difficult positions and what those loss of dollars would have looked like for them. As far as the athletics and the budget process, absolutely, we're looking at anything that we lost last year. We're looking at all that program. We have a list, obviously, of all the losses that we experienced having to have a second budget vote and the challenges that presented. And are reviewing all those things to potentially add back into our budget. We are on a much better path financially, as I tried to highlight earlier, in terms of some of our dollars that we can, we started at a much more difficult place last year. We've been able to move through a number of challenges financially to put ourselves in a better place. So we'll have those discussions at all of our upcoming forums, and I appreciate those comments this evening. Also, just to our students that spoke tonight, thank you for your comments. I know it took a lot of courage to stand up in a difficult auditorium, to stand in front of a Board of Education, in front of administration, and I certainly appreciate our students having the courage to do so tonight. So once again, we thank you for attending this evening, and we wish everyone a great night.
Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not really sure. Jen Keen, she runs the whole thing for that.
What about the tech guy? The tech guy?
What do they have to do for drive?
Log into Zoom for the lecture. If they miss anything,
They couldn't get into the Zoom?
They could not log into the Zoom. Multiple things.
I would say is just email me, and I'll forward the information to Jen Keen, and she'll